G'day and welcome to NWR's Vantage Point conference. Up next, we have Dubber. We've got the two co-founders in the room. Steve McGovern's the Managing Director and CEO, and James Slaney on the right is the COO. Before I hand it over to the guys to go through a bit of a quick 101, as per the other presentations, it's more of an elevator pitch and then more interactive Q&A, which we encourage you to submit through the Q&A panel at the bottom of the screen. But James, I'll hand over to you and Steve to give us a quick rundown on the company. Thanks very much.
Thanks very much, Simon, and welcome everyone. You've actually got us on a very important day for the company because we're in the middle of a global product release, so we're going to give you a view on what we're releasing today. Dubber is a platform, a global platform that turns the content in telephone networks captures the content and turns it into usable data. And our products range from cloud call recording, which can be delivered directly from the network, through to really the essence of Dubber, which is AI into the network and products that change the way businesses with a large addressable market look at themselves or insights, etc. So we're actually going to show you a video of what we've launched today. Without putting too fine a point on it, we're actually connected directly into a network. So, for example, the Optus mobile network, and you'll see something from Optus in a minute on what we've launched. And from that, Optus can actually serve our products to differentiate, to add revenue to their existing services. In other words, they become a content provider as well as a device and service provider. And so that's the essence of what the Dubber platform does. When we're connected into a network, we're invariably the only one. So we have great operating leverage, and I guess from an investor perspective, it's a moat as well. And our goal then is to enable the sellers within Optus to actually, obviously, when the customers require the services that we provide, obviously just provision Dubber in an easy fashion, and you'll see that with the release. So today, we've released product that we've been developing for 2 years since we made an acquisition of a company called Notive. We've invested heavily in it, and we can safely say that you're about to see a world first in one case, and you're about to see how telco providers can revolutionize what they do and provide content directly from the network to their users.
Cool. Do you want me to share the video?
Please, yeah.
Thanks, mate. Sorry. Make sure the settings are right. Share.
Welcome to an exciting journey into the future of communication.
That's all good, James. You want to press play?
At Dubber, we're all about bringing the service provider network to life. Imagine a moment where customers can get unprecedented value from products delivered directly from the network. Imagine a moment where communication service providers rapidly deliver innovation that create value for their customers. Today is a landmark moment where the Dubber platform enables our 170 plus service provider partners to embrace the capabilities of AI to deliver a revolution in communications. Join us as we delve into the exciting possibilities that lie ahead with Dubber Moments.
We're all seeing the power that AI can deliver, and there's no reason our communications shouldn't see the value of that also. Today, this has become a reality, and I'm thrilled to announce the launch of Dubber Moments. We surface moments with Dubber AI, but not looking at just the words, but the entire context of a conversation, allowing Dubber to magically surface the needed moments. We focus on the real needs faced by our clients and gradually releasing an array of moments that solve these challenges. Once moments are correlated across all conversations, amazing insights are then possible. A part of this launch, I'm excited to announce the first moment, Complaints, is available. With this moment, all businesses of any size can now immediately understand more about their customers and can address complaints to make dramatic business impacts. Users are presented with a beautiful application that correlates the moments, providing instant insights and the ability to dig deeper for greater knowledge. Our platform can support the world's largest communications networks. And this moment is the first in a theme to bring unprecedented value to the network. We're so excited to share the next coming moment. We call it Actions. It identifies commitments made for tasks and activities during the conversation. Any user can gain value, from a builder confirming a quote while on a mobile call, to a project manager assigning a task on a unified communication service. It is the ability to be groundbreaking for our service provider partners, who can be innovation leaders in their markets while creating a completely new source of growth. Let me show you Actions on a live mobile network.
Hey James, how's it going?
Great, mate. How you going?
Are you coming to the British Grand Prix this year?
Yeah, I'd love to. Challenge is I've got to get there. I've got a few customers coming. Let me work it out and I'll send you a commitment in the next 24 hours.
Thanks James, speak to you soon.
Great, mate. I'll speak to you soon. And that was just a common mobile call, except with an F1 driver. It shows how an action can be a simple experience, but hugely impactful to me and change my relationship with my service provider. As the leader in conversation intelligence, we are already connected to over 170 communication service providers worldwide. Our commitment to innovation and excellence has earned us the trust of industry leaders, and we are now working closely with major partners who recognise the tremendous opportunity that Dubber provides. These strategic partnerships enable us to collaborate, innovate, and deliver cutting-edge solutions that empower our partners to seize new revenue opportunities. Together with our major partners, we are driving a new era in communications innovation. But don't take my word for it. Let's hear from one of our partners.
AI is becoming broadly part of our lives, and customers are expecting to see benefits from it. When AI can be used to directly solve business challenges effectively out of the box, it simplifies the customer's decision-making and assists our sales teams. Currently, Dubber is assisting Optus in a special campaign that promotes the Dubber AI functionality around automatically detecting complaints for organisations and summarisation of calls for each user.
I'm excited to share the next evolution of our journey as we continue to expand our global network and empower our partners with the transformative capabilities of conversation intelligence. Dubber is committed to continuous innovation, delivering game-changing technologies to unlock the true potential of communication fueled by AI. We encourage you to contact our team and your Dubber representative to experience Dubber moments for yourself. And of course, you can go to our website at dubber.net for more information.
Coming up. Sorry to try to juggle that.
Now, that was really impressive, guys. Well done. Can you just talk to us who that's been aired to? What's the sort of, we've just got Andrew Demery, the CFO, just joining for the Q&A session as well. But yeah, what's the whole purpose of this in terms of obviously, you know, new products and whatnot, but where's it being marketed to and what's the sort of impact that we're expecting?
Okay, so the video you've just seen, we did invite investors to join this morning as observers, but the video is actually for our service provider partners. So whether it be VM02 networks in the UK, British Telecom, AT&T, Verizon, these are all carriers who, if you think about the way you buy a mobile phone, today it's based on price and data inclusion. And in many cases, those prices are getting cheaper and cheaper and cheaper. Carriers are actually looking to use their asset. Their asset are the millions or billions of calls going across their network. They've never been able to get content revenue out of it. Dubber is the only built-for-purpose platform in the world that can scale across a network, capture that content and deliver outcomes. So what you've seen there, you've seen two different revolutionary products. One of them is dashboard-driven, fundamentally out-of-the-box reporting on key insights for businesses, for which we've already got customers live in Australia prior to the launch, names that you would know. And all they want is they want to see something simple, like the number of complaints going across their network, data that they've never been able to get from certain aspects of their employee base before, particularly directly from the network. The second thing you saw is really the fundamentals. So we would actually, if we were live in a meeting today, we'd actually do a live call We could have a 3-4 minute call with lots of white noise content in it. At the end of it, the user would get an SMS with the action items off that call. So typically we would mock up, a purchase of Telstra shares at a certain price in the middle of a phone call. And just as you would an SMS, just as you would expect voicemail to be on your phone, we've been saying now for 4 or 5 years that it's inevitable that AI is going to be in every phone call. Obviously, with the advance of and the appetite for AI over the last 6 months, it's a really hot topic. Dubber is uniquely placed to be the gateway for all these AI capabilities, including our own, to be delivered from the network to deliver those outcomes. So we believe we have a production line of products that come out of the box. So complaints is the first one. We can detect abuse. We have themes which go towards ESG. We have sales, productivity products out of the box. And these are accretive revenue generating products that the service providers can deploy directly to their customers. They're easy to sell. It's a binary outcome. Do you want to know what's going on with your customers or not? There's no solution selling. It's billed immediately. The telcos don't need to do anything. They've already got the product if they're connected to our network. And we think it's it's an inevitability that AI is going to be in every phone call, and we're placed in 170 networks to deliver it uniquely.
And in terms of, you've mentioned AI a number of times as a number of companies over the past 6 months. Yeah, there's a lot of applications that can do this sort of stuff now. Why can't someone else do it?
I think, as Steve was saying, so we've got 170 relationship service providers with obviously multiple networks in some of these providers. We're the only service connected to these networks. So effectively, when we talk about Optus or Virgin Media O2 or Verizon or AT&T or smaller providers in the UK, such as Red Centric or Volvo IP, we're the only network or product connected into their communications network. So when they want to supply an AI product or any other, so when we did call recording and just call recording, they want to sell call recording, they had to sell Dubber. Now we're doing an AI service. If they want to add that on top of their communications, we're the only product they can do that with because we're the only service connected to the network that carries the telephony. In some aspects, in some parts, like I know some people on the call might be thinking about Teams, and in some aspects, Teams is competitive, but that's probably a deeper conversation around. We are very much a repeatable sale platform can be delivered immediately. And everything we're doing, as Steve said, the idea behind that is really to immediately enable their sales team to sell something that makes sense and is sellable by the level of ability through our channel. The service providers are not a solution sales to go to market, so we deliver that. So complaints is understandable, very easily sellable, and it's available by all providers that are connected to Dubber globally immediately. There's no more work to be done by the provider. If they're already connected, they can start selling it today. Actions that Steve was saying is delivered in a slightly different way. And the idea behind that as a moment, as we call it, is to drive a higher level of engagement with the provider on a bigger scale. So we're using this as different ways to market, but what you saw in regards to complaints, that can be sold today by all providers across the world.
And in terms of, obviously, you've only just sort of launched this as of this morning, but I'm sure you've sounded out telcos prior to that. What's the sort of general response? And I suppose the key thing is, can they sell it? And what's the sort of education required around selling it?
Well, the obvious target market to start with are the existing 170 service providers that we have. So, and we're advanced with a number of those who can sell it straight away, candidly. So they're already connected into the Dubber platform. They're already billing the end users for Dubber services. All the barriers around, all delay items around provisioning, what we call provisioning and billing in telco, they're already overcome. So, we have a substantial amount of cloud call recording users for which this can just be added as a feature. And of course, on those networks, while we have a penetration rate, which is what it is on each network, this opens up a completely, a much larger addressable market for whether it be complaints or, as James says, the call with Oscar Piastri, for example. That is a network feature which basically turns your mobile device into a productivity tool because it's actually served directly from the network. And so, it's really, really cool features. It's a world first, and there's great appetite for it, as you can imagine. In fact, we can quite confidently say it's not a matter of if, but when carriers are going to actually deploy AI from the network. They have to do it.
Yes, and we've chosen complaints and, as Steve would say, abuse, which is probably not the most sexiest terms in the world, but it's the demand that we've seen in the market. So we're getting that demand from customers that's what they want to know about their business and their businesses. So we've actually done a lot of work with the early adopter providers that have customers that need to understand that. So we've actually responded to that by focusing on complaints first, and then you'll see things like abuse come second and other moments down the track based on demand.
That makes sense. And just in terms of, and I think it's probably a key question that's come through, does it now mean that an Optus salesperson can sell Dubber AI products without actually having to sell call recording as a basic function, i.e., as all of a sudden the addressable market increased dramatically because you're actually selling a product, not just selling call recording?
Yeah, so as you saw the testimonial there from Stuart Pritchard, who runs Optus Business, from a selling perspective, tomorrow they start a campaign. Internally, it will take them a couple of weeks to actually get themselves organised, but they start a campaign whereby they can sell initially to their enterprise customers, switch the customers on immediately. They don't need call recording. We're natively integrated into the Optus mobile network. It's available, and they will try and sell it to it. So they're going to enterprise first, and then they'll move it down to small business.
Yeah. So, but in terms of actually selling it, now they're not selling call recording; they're selling Dubber.
Yeah, and so one of the dashboards that you saw there is from an Australian company, actually on the Telstra network, one of the Telstra networks, and so we were able to close a deal for complaints on 3 phone calls. It's a pretty binary sales proposition. There's nothing consultative about it. Would you like to understand the complaints that are going across your business? This particular company is a very, very well-known, high-profile franchise business in the tyre and exhaust sector. They have 75, 80 stores. They made a decision in 3 phone calls. It was a really easy sell. It's easy to say yes or no to. There's no consulting. There's no deployment. Do they want the information? Yes, they do. This is how much it costs. It's affordable. So they don't need call recording for it.
So to keep it really simple, Simon, so based on your question, if I was selling this to NWR and I was selling you a WebEx service for your business and that was going to run all your communications, I'm going to say that's Simon, it's $20 a seat for WebEx, and would you like to know about complaints across your business? And you'd say, I probably need to know about that. Yep. So for an extra X amount per month, we can let you know every time there's a complaint, and you get a report once a week or log into the portal. And there's no real discussion about call recording, or needs to be discussion about call recording. You see a lot of that messaging from Dubber be pushed down a little bit as a product of Dubber. If you look at we've just released a new website today as well. Really, everything that Steve's saying, really focus on encapsulating our message for providers and the value we actually deliver to providers.
No, that makes sense. And we don't get complaints, so we wouldn't be illogical.
We can talk later, mate.
We're bringing abuse out as well, Simon, so you can just wait.
So that is much more fitting. Will moments be charged by Dubber to service providers as an extra feature depending on their customer take-up, or is it inclusive in their current deals?
No, definitely an extra charge. The idea is that there's a lot more value in the product, definitely in some aspects. In call recording, sometimes we have, obviously, you can do the numbers. We get pressure on price because sometimes it's delivered as I need to record phone calls. In this regard, we definitely expect to see an ARPU increase based on then taking up the complaints moment, and then at some point when we deliver other moments, we can see a future ARPU increase across every user that's on the platform.
Now, what you saw, the dashboard, the product, if you like, is the same for each one of our moments. So we don't have to do significant development work. It's actually really doing the natural language capability for each particular moment. So if we were actually showing, one of the sales productivity moments, it would be the same dashboard with just different data in it. And once you look at that data, you can drill into what it does, which is interesting. You can imagine a phone call. This meeting, for example, is going to go for half an hour, and there's a lot of white noise in it. You can actually just hover over each of those. If there's a complaint in it, you'd hover over each of those calls. It would summarize that complaint in one sentence. It would actually tell you what type of complaint it is, so it categorizes it. It would tell you who the complaint it relates to. So it's completely intuitive with extraordinary accuracy. And, so we encourage people to go to the website to maybe have a look at that.
Definitely. And in terms of, might be putting the horse before the cart or the cart before the horse, I always get that wrong. But in terms of if you're successful with building out these Dubber moments and products, would it not sort of create a bit more of an ecosystem of other companies wanting to tap in to, that sort of data and products at scale, across, 170 telco networks? It sort of leaves you as a source of truth, doesn't it?
Yeah, so I guess that the messaging and why we've latched onto this sort of like marketing way of presenting the data, we're saying a moment in every conversation is important. So a complaint or an action is in every conversation is something that's unique for that conversation. By bringing it together across all conversations in a business, now you've got insights across the business. You can see that data through the API can make a lot of value for third-party applications, presenting it in other like Dubber's integrations or third-party integrations. We can see providers at some point utilising the moment as an SDK into their own applications as well. So the more of that happens, the better for us as it is. So at the moment, that moment is available via the API. And as we see take up, we do expect that the customer or a partner will present that in BI tools, reporting. Definitely, if you look at action items, you can see that the future, that can be brought together in a Salesforce view. And you can see through a sales team, how active is your sales team? What's the next step? And track. I think always in all businesses like Dubber, we want to track activity that leads to results. So you see all of this and bring it to the tools that the actual customer uses are pretty powerful. And it's all that. And then what we like about it, obviously, it's available out of the box immediately off the network, and that's the power here.
And easy to sell, most importantly.
Yep.
Yeah. And in terms of, obviously you rolled out the first couple, but what's the sort of time frame look like for the rest of the Moments suite, and what sort of R&D or new products do you sort of envisage going forward?
But yeah, okay, I'm sorry, sometimes we're trying to get pretty aggressive on releasing Moments. Like the team, as long as we can get access to the data and we can structure get a real clear understanding what the moment should be. I'll say abuse for a second. That's the next one off the conveyor belt. The idea will be if we're starting today and we wanted to release abuse, we think we could do that within 4 weeks and get it to market. And so we want to make sure we've got that sort of theory about getting Moments to market. It's really access to the data. So we've got service providers who are early adopters. They're working with their customers. We're actually being collaborative with them. And if they give us the data and we actually define that, we'll get a releasing partner as well. So over the next 12 months, I think we want to get pretty aggressive on releasing Moments consistently. And the idea behind that is, I think, which as shareholders, is to get the company really aligned behind those so we can get consistency across the world, be efficient in the way we actually market and sell our product, and be really actually driven in a consistent way. So Moments will be pushed to this next coming 3 months across the world. Abuse will have another campaign behind that. And then as we get the additional data, it makes the business really quite easy to really push a consistent message across all our resources.
No, that makes sense. And this might be a bit of a sort of soft and fluffy question, but obviously the launch is reasonably significant for the company in terms of the work that's been completed to date. Do you think from a cultural sort of, energizing perspective, it's going to make a real impact internally in terms of driving the company forward and in turn, delivering obviously revenue growth and hopefully cash flow positive in years to come?
We held back the video from our staff until so they saw it for the first time today, and the response has been overwhelming in terms of what we're delivering. We just put this in perspective. We are creating AI content in the world's largest telco networks, and nobody else in the world has ever done this. It's something we've been building and we've invested heavily into for 2 years. It's the holy grail of communications capture. We're at the source of the call. So to answer your previous question, AI can go to direct to enterprise. We're at the center, the source of the call for voice conversational AI. So we are in the network with carriers who are vested to make more money out of the asset that they're carrying, which are the calls across that network. It's the holy grail. We've been chasing it now. You've heard me talk, Simon, for about 4 years about, we used to call it AI for every phone. Gartner will back it up. Gartner will tell you that 75% of business calls will be captured by 2025. I think we all see in the last 6 months the advent and the sort of appetite for AI has just snowballed, and we've always been in position to take advantage of it. We've actually just managed to get the products to a level where we can match the appetite both for the end user and also for the service provider who's making the money along with ourselves. So I think our people are absolutely over the moon about what they're doing. We've given some embargo interviews to trade press in the telco sector, and it'd be fair to say when we say it's a revolution, it's a revolution. It's blown their mind, frankly. So, and that's why it's easy to get people like Stuart Pritchard, and we've got some UK telcos for the UK on board with the launch to actually express what it means to them as a differentiator and a revenue generator.
James, did you have anything else to add from product perspective on that one?
No, I think obviously there's been a whole range of people involved in doing all the work to get this there. I think once you actually release it and it comes all together in regards to the strategy behind it, how it applies to the market, and seeing the actually end outcome of a video, as Steve said, I think that's the team are excited about it, and they're pretty much as we've been saying today, they think we can take on the world and revolutionise communications. The action item, if you see that in real life, in regards to it's on a SIM card on a mobile network in Australia, and it automatically pulls out an action item, that's pretty compelling. So if everyone to see that as we all know how to use a mobile phone, the team is actually right behind it. Can't wait to get it to market and get growth through it.
Looked fantastic. Well done on the launch. Well done on the acting as well. It was really impressive. And thanks very much for presenting today. If anyone had any follow-up questions or wanted to organise one-on-one, more than happy to organise separate. But enjoy the rest of your day, guys. Thanks very much.
Thanks, Simon.
Thanks, mate.